In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create memory locations, which are very convenient and well worth your time to master. For example, you can use markers to denote the verses and choruses of your song for easy reference. I've marked my bridge, trumpet entrances, verses, etc. Memory locations can be markers to a single point or to selections of a range. Markers will appear in the marker's ruler, but selections will not. A selection memory marker is useful for quickly retrieving a range that you need to access frequently. Clicking a marker opens its parameter window. Memory locations store many parameters: zoom settings, pre- and post-roll, track show and hide, track heights, group enables, window configuration. There's even a comments area for you to make additional specifications. You can create what's called a general memory location if you select none as your time property value. This lets you preserve and recall a view of your workspace that you're very comfortable with. Just preset any of these view parameters, then navigate to the marker number to pull up that setting. Use the name field to give your memory location a meaningful name. Let's cancel out of this for now. Let's create a snapshot of my window that I use for really zoomed in editing. First, I'll organize my workspace the way I want. Set my track height. Let's stretch out the track that I'll be zooming in on. Let's give it a vertical zoom. We're going to hide a few tracks as well. I'll hide the color too. Let me keep my audio tracks. Let's lose this MIDI track, this aux input track too, and the click track as well. Let me change my grid value. And now I'll zoom in pretty close. I'm right down to the sample level here. Now I click the new marker icon. The new memory location dialog window opens. I'm going to select none in the time properties area. Let's number it 1. We are able to rewrite memory locations if you need to. Let's give it an appropriate name as well. Percussion close-up. Now I elect the view properties that I'd like to save. And I'll type in some comments. OK when I'm done. Are you sure you want to replace the configuration in slot 1? This cannot be undone. Yes, this is OK. Conveniently, you can view a list of all of your memory locations. Select View, Memory Locations. A small box pops up, which lists all of my memory locations. Here is my new one, Percussion Close-Up. OK, now let's change my view. Let's say I'm doing some other editing. I want to bring back in the tracks that I'd hid. Resize some tracks. And let's pull up the memory locations window. Let's say I'm ready to do my percussion close-up work. I simply select Percussion Close-Up. Voila, my preset preferred view is back. I can click on any of these other markers to select them. I can double-click a marker to open the Edit Memory Location dialog window. If you haven't preset any general properties, then your view won't change from one memory location to the next. Let's exit this window. Markers and selections can refer to an absolute location in your session or to bars and beats values. The yellow chevrons stand for relative time references. Yellow diamonds stand for absolute time references. Our percussion is blank because we didn't attach a time reference to it. In the case of relative markers, the memory location's position will vary with the tempo setting. Let's close this memory location window. Now let's go look at the markers ruler. If you don't see the markers ruler, enable it from the ruler view selector. You can find the same menu under View, Rulers. Clicking on a marker moves the playback position to that point. And it'll recall any zoom settings or other view properties that you may have saved. Double-clicking on a marker will let you edit its properties. Be sure to have set up your edit window in the way that you want to save before you open this dialog window, because it'll save your screen as is. Let's talk about how to create a marker. Simply navigate to the destination where you want to place it, and then click on the plus sign in the marker's rulers. The new memory location dialog window opens. Let's call this one Percussion Screw Up because I see that there's a problem on this track. Need to align this to the beat. OK. And we see our new marker in the marker's ruler. The easiest way to create a marker is to press Enter on your numeric keypad during playback. We started our playback here. I press Enter, and the new memory location dialog window opens. I enter my name and other parameters. If you find that it's not convenient to set up a new marker like this during playback, you do have an option that lets you simply tag the markers without entering the properties. This would be good, for example, if you're tagging mistakes during a recording or a playback. Pro Tools will let you add markers on the fly. Click Setup, Preferences, and select the Editing tab. You need to enable auto-name memory locations when playing. Click OK. And let's try it out. Start your playback. And wherever you want to enter a marker, press Enter on your numeric keypad. Okay, let's stop our playback. If you like, you can go back and edit these markers by double-clicking on the marker. I remember what the problem was here. The bass conflicted with the trumpet. You can drag markers using the grabber tool. Keep in mind that your current edit mode will affect your ability to position the marker. In grid mode, I was only able to position against my grid. Slip mode here gives me a little more flexibility. Spot mode will allow me to enter the precise numerical location of the marker in whichever time scale is convenient for me. Let's talk briefly about selection memory markers now. Selection memory markers store a range that you've highlighted in the edit window. They can include multiple tracks. This is handy if you find yourself coming back to a section of your song over and over for punch-ins, editing, bouncing, or if you want to view it at a particular height and zoom, etc. Let me select a range. Now I click Add Marker in the marker's ruler. New memory location dialog window opens. Under Time Properties, I choose Selection. I save some other properties. Give it a meaningful name. Let's call it Finale 2. Enter comments if you need them. Punch in location for finale. Click OK when you're done. Selection memory locations don't appear in the marker's ruler. However, I can see it in the memory locations window. There it is at the bottom. And this concludes our tutorial on memory locations.